All right, so how many of you have either done a ab-only workout, been told that you need to do ab-only or core workouts, or have had some issue with low back pain and had someone tell you, hey, you need to do some core exercises? Welcome to another edition of Meathead Mondays with yours truly, Lady Meathead, aka Antonia from A1 Fit Coaching. And I'm super excited to kick off this series on core training today. So first off, what the heck even is your core? You might have heard your core referred to as your abs or your trunk. And the traditional classification of this is going to be the things that are between your diaphragm and your pelvic floor. This is going to include muscles like your transverse abdominis or TBA, lumbar multifidus or multifidus, and your internal and external oblique systems. Core training is utilized in a variety of programs, everything from athletic performance to injury prevention and rehab, and it can include everything from core stability, strength, and size, as well as dynamic postural control.
In 2013, Martuscello et al. Published a study in which he classified core training exercises into the 5 main categories that you'll see above. Many popular standalone core exercise programs that you'll find on the internet rely on the first 3 and not the last 2.
People get really excited about things like being able to do more sit-ups or being able to hold a plank for longer, but the fact of the matter is that your core has a dynamic role, which means that it is always working, it is always on, and it's helping you in a variety of movements. So things like planks, for example, aren't a very good indication because often in functional day-to-day movement and in sports, our core is not just doing one thing. Does that make sense? So in uninjured and healthy populations, which is probably about 50% of you, things like plank time doesn't really mean anything because it doesn't transfer over to any of your actual activities. For those of you that might be experiencing low back pain or have some other issues like that, research does show some correlations between your muscle size and strength and their effectiveness. So here's the next big question. What effects does core training have on rehab and injury prevention and also athletic performance? Not sorry to burst your bubble, but there's actually pretty limited evidence that shows that it can help with upper body injuries or athletic performance improvement. In fact, if you're someone who is a healthy, uninjured, athletic person, then increases in your core strength are actually going to do relatively little to help your athletic performance. So this brings us to the last topic of our video. How do you do core training in a way that works for you? Well, first of all, you need to categorize yourself if you are someone who is healthy or an athlete, or if you're someone that has suffered from injuries like low back pain. The next thing that you need to do is keep watching this series, because on the next 2 episodes of Meathead Mondays, we are going to talk about applications of core training for healthy and uninjured athletic populations, and then also for those of you that have a history of low back pain or other similar injuries like that. Thanks so much for joining me for this week's edition of Meathead Mondays. And as always, questions, comments, concerns, regrets, feel free to leave them in the comment section around this video. And I will see you guys next week.